since we've been emphasizing meditation, pleading with you, really encouraging meditation and talking a lot about the receptive mode and getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. We've been saying to you that so far this is just words maybe. And until you actually sit and meditate and sit and meditate and sit and meditate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and know that you got detached and know that you actually accomplished that feeling of detachment, what we would do if we were standing in your physical shoes or sitting in your physical chairs, we would focus upon something in the room. Esther has a little clock that ticks. She likes the sound of that. Or you can listen to a dripping faucet or anything. The air conditioner is usually making a nice consistent sound, but just find some sound. Let's listen in this room. Is there a sound? So focus on that sound. So as you focus on that sound, and your mind will want to wander, but don't let it. Just make that sound important. Just focus on that sound. And as you do that for a minute or two or three or four or five or 10, what will happen is your mind will just settle down, because that thought is not a very big thought. And you can't think about the bills you have to pay and listen to that at the same time. You can't think about anything you're worried about at the same time. Focus on that. And it will take you to this place of quiet, inactivity really. And for every minute that you spend in that deactivating those thoughts because you're focused upon something else, your vibration will rise until even maybe on the first attempt, you'll tune in to the vibration of your source. Now, when you do that, often what happens is your inner being will offer some really soft intention to you, which may result in what feels to you like involuntary movement. You may find yourself just feeling like you want to sort of flow with it. It might be in your thumb or your hands or your shoulder. Often, if you're relaxed with your head, you'll just feel yourself just sort of moving for no reason, and don't think about it. Just enjoy the movement. Esther felt like she was flying when she first experienced that. And then when your timer goes off, set a timer for 20 minutes so that you don't get carried away with this. But usually, once you have connected in that way, and it might take you a week to do it, 15 minutes a day, not a week of meditation, 15 minutes a day for a week. It might take you a few days to do it, but a thought will occur to you, and it will be a good feeling thought. Sometimes Esther will receive a thought like, I think I'll move some furniture around. Then she laughs, oh, I thought I would be thinking more about world peace or something important. A thought will come, a good feeling thought will come, and as you notice these good feeling thoughts coming, when you consciously connect that you received the thought, then you're off and running. And then don't try to think thoughts. Listen. Get into listening mode, but you're not listening with your ears. You're listening in the receptive mode. You're listening for thoughts or impulses. That the more you do that, what you'll begin to notice is that you don't need to be coming out of meditation to do that. You're doing it all the time anyway. When you change lanes in traffic, or when you get an impulse to stop and do something, or impulse to call someone, in other words, you've been in the receiving mode much more than you know. We're just encouraging you to do it on purpose, because when you do it on purpose and then you make the correlation between your quieted mind and the receptive mode and the thoughts that are flowing, then you understand, and then these things that you heard us say today will be meaningful to you. So far they're just words, but when you allow them to happen to you and you receive the personal clarity and benefit and good feeling of them, then there will be no limits for you. And for a while, so many things will start unfolding for you because you've got a vortex full of things that have been wanting to get out. A vortex full of things that are ripe and ready for you to be ready for them. Ready for you to be ready, ready for you to be ready, ready for you to be ready. So this is what this gathering is all about. You getting ready. Ready for what? Ready to receive. You getting ready. Ready for what? You to receive. Receive what? Receive what you've been asking for. You to get ready. Ready for what? Ready to receive. Ready to receive what? What's in your vortex? How'd it get there? You getting ready. Ready to receive. Ready to receive what? What's in your vortex that you put there through life? It's just this wonderful cycle of becoming. And of course, you're still wanting more of that. It takes a long time to be born again into a squatty little body with no balance and no teeth and no freedom. It's much better to continue from where you are, you see. Good?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So first I have a setup question. Do you know how in touch I was with the vortex or source during my teen years, my 20s, and now? If not, I'll proceed and continue.
Well, if you really wanted us to, we could tune back to it because you've got some sense of it within yourself. But what's really significant is your relationship to it now, so that's usually where we focus. Is there some reason that that's important?
It's just a timeline to coordinate, basically to show from here to there, and just a timeline to show the progression or going down. So basically, I'll just continue.
Well, you've had steady desire that's been growing all along. And in the earlier stages, you were much more in a closer relationship to your vortex, and then got into a period where you were thinking so much that you weren't in close proximity to it. But now you're in the perfect place in our perspective, where your desires are at their most poignant and your conscious ability to line up with them is at your most readiness. And so this is the best time ever for you. Can you feel that?
I feel I'm exactly right on that spot, right on that spot.
Yeah.
So basically, here's the thing. In my teens, I'm a problem solver, so I figure out a lot of stuff very quickly. Even some of the things that you've taught, I figured out on my own until I was introduced to you by a friend.
Problem solver meaning solution receiver.
So basically, at that time, I realize now, as a teen, I was doing the law of attraction naturally.
Yes.
And of course, listening to people and of course their advice and opinions, I went away from that.
Well, you see, because you were in that rebellious stage where you were doing then what we want all of you to do now, where you were saying, I really don't care what you all think because I don't think your lives are working out that well for you, and I'm just going to do what I want. It'd be nice if you could stay like that, because then you could miss that interim time of sluggishness, but no worries.
Yeah. So basically, at that time, I got a lot of bad information, and I listened to it. And of course, I didn't know, things were running great, fantastic. But then when there were questions I didn't understand, like I didn't feel bad. I always felt happy. People died. That didn't bother me. It was, oh, this is natural. So of course, you question if you don't understand why everybody else is sad and you're not. And that's why I learned a lot of things that were not correct. Now I understand, obviously, as I got older, it was a lot of mental garbage that I was taught. So obviously, I've learned a lot of courses, studied a lot of stuff, and now I'm back at this point where I'm in the entertainment industry and, of course, doing a regular job. So there is sometimes the stress of, obviously, you have to provide now your financials and everything else, doing the regular stuff until that side picks up from it. And that's pretty much with everything in my life right now. I've seen, because of a lot of tragedies, and I'm usually the rock for people, but I've taken a break from that to focus on myself now, that each part of it will say, life, health, wealth, relationships, they're all kind of right there. Like I can get it all again like I was when I was younger. And there's a lot of it, but there's some of them just kind of fizzle out. I'm not sure what's going on. So, from you, because I did the meditation, this is very funny, very, very funny. Listening to your stuff at night on, on the TV or whatever, that helped me a lot. Listening to the sounds helped a lot. When I listened to a pre-recorded on, it was a 15-minute one you walked through, I actually listened to that for a week. I felt relaxed, and things went down. So I said, okay. I noticed for myself, I like hearing, my friend calls me slots because I slot things. I like hearing a lot of stuff. My mind is always working. I didn't know if maybe that's probably what works better for me than just sitting, or it's because I stopped listening to that and I only did the meditation, and maybe I needed both.
This is an important discussion to have. So let's just start with the basic understanding that you are emanating a vibration and law of attraction is responding to it, and that vibration fluctuates depending upon what you're thinking about. So all the tools and processes that we offer are all for the help of helping you to release resistance, because we know you've done all the work, you've asked for everything, the solutions are all there. We just want to help you find some way, somehow, to get in the receiving mode so that you can start receiving. Now, the wonderful thing about the things that you're saying here is that you know for sure that you recognize what the receiving mode feels like. And so if something isn't working for you, and you don't even have to figure out why it isn't working or if there's something that you should get rid of so that it will work, just move to something that's more satisfying and more satisfying and more satisfying. You have made strong connection with your inner being through your creative work. And you know what it feels like when that all is flowing through you. The thing that is difficult for so many people is that they know how to accomplish that during certain aspects of their life, but then when they're off the stage or out of the view or out of the momentum of that kind of alignment, then sometimes focusing upon other pieces of reality of their life sort of pinches them off from the good juices that are flowing. And those good juices can flow for you all the time. So give us a specific question. In other words, because meditation is good not just to open you. You accomplished that a long time ago. But to tune you. It's like the cork that's bobbing on the surface of the water. And for sake of this analogy, we want to call that alignment. You can hold it under the water, like when you've got a business problem or a staff problem or something that you're focusing upon. But as soon as you turn your attention away from that and let go of that, it will bob right back up there again. You don't have to work hard to allow your vibration to rise, but you do have to stop doing that thing that holds the cork under the water. And so when we ask someone to stop doing that thing, it's not a very good approach, because when you say, I'm not going to do that thing and I'm not going to think about it anymore, you're thinking about it now. And so it's about the distraction of something else. And that's what's worked really well for you for a very long time. Those around you might have called you selfish because you are so selfish that you follow your own bliss. But that really is the key to this living happily ever after that we're talking about here.
So that's correct. And we'll say when I was younger, I recognized that, yes, I probably appeared selfish, right? And
Didn't only appear selfish, you were.
Well, yeah.
Because you can only see through the eyes of self. And if you're doing what is satisfying for self, then you're reaching for that alignment. And others don't like it because they would rather you serve them in most cases.
True. And of course, obviously, later on, you feel bad because people, are upset. So that took a big turn. But now I'm back on track to being selfish again and just following my thing and not worrying about it. You got to do that, right?
Here's the thing. When you feel bad because you're not pleasing others, what you have to say to yourself, because you really can't jump through enough hoops to keep them consistently feeling good, and that's what you finally figured out. Because it's their job to find their satisfaction. It's not their job to convert you to a behavior that makes them feel satisfied. We want to make a very strong statement here. No one, even all of those people that you love, that you want to feel satisfied, they are never going to feel satisfaction about you changing a behavior. They only feel satisfaction about their desires that they meet. That's the only place that satisfaction comes from. It's an illusion. If my kids would just behave different, I would feel so much better. Well, maybe for a minute. But that's not where your satisfaction is coming from. Your satisfaction is coming from your life expansion that you keep up with. You're constantly becoming more. And if you are not keeping up with the more that you are becoming, you're not satisfied. And nobody else has anything to do with any of that. But almost everybody else thinks that you do have something to do with it, and so is wanting to control your behavior. And finally, when you get to that place that you want their satisfaction for them and you demonstrate how you've accomplished it, then things get going really good for you. And maybe for them if they're paying attention.